This scene could change Star Wars forever, and let's just say this is not what any of us might have expected. Episode 6 is finally out, and there were many amazing details, from our first live-action appearance of Thrawn to what looks like his new undead army, and also the first appearance of Ezra. But crazy enough, what stood out to me the most was this scene right here, when Baylan Skoll explains how important this new galaxy is. Let's get right into it. We start out with an interesting back and forth between Baylan Skoll and Morgan Elsbeth. When they arrive to Peridia, Morgan begins to say that this was the ancient Dathomiri homeworld. Baylan then responds that the Jedi archives used to speak about this place, and it was actually the end of a migration route used by the Star Whales. Morgan quickly responds and tells Baylan that her people were the first to ride these creatures long ago. Because of their backgrounds, it's like they have two different interpretations of what this place actually means. Now, remember this conversation because this will actually tie into what I'm going to explain shortly. They then arrive on Peridia and they're greeted by 3 witches, which are called the Great Mothers. But do you notice something unique about them? Well, their headdresses are identical to those of the Mortis gods. One being pointy, one being round, and one having 2 parts to it. It feels like they resemble them in a way. While it might not be a big detail, I thought it was pretty cool. But anyways, we then get to the scene where Baylan Skoll and Shin Hati start to speak to one another. Baylan tells her that this planet is one of dreams, and then he starts to think about all the pain he went through with Order 66. He starts to feel frustrated about the constant shift in the galaxy. From the fall of the Jedi to the rise of the Empire, it's like it's a constant cycle. Shin then asks him, won't our alliance with Thrawn fix all this? And Baylan shakes his head here. He basically tells her that alliancing with Thrawn will do nothing. But this planet Peridia, that will be the key here. That will bring the cycle to an end and it'll answer all their questions. So why? Why would this planet be the key to everything? Well, remember earlier when I said about how Baylan and Morgan have different viewpoints about things? Yeah, well this is where things get crazy. I want to show you something from the Book of Sith. It's written in here from Mother Talzin herself that the Night Sisters believed in 2 individuals that were known as the twin deities. These 2 were called the Wing Goddess and the Fang God. They would take the form of both a griffin and a gargoyle and were known to keep balance in the so-called spirit realm. Now, do these 2 look familiar to you? Well, these were the forms that the son and the daughter took. The daughter could turn into a griffin and the son could turn into a gargoyle. But the thing is, we've always known them as both the embodiment of the light and the dark side of the Force. However, the Night Sisters don't believe in the Force. In Legends, these 2 are the ones that keep balance in the spirit realm. Now, the spirit realm was basically a parallel to the physical world that was inhabited by spirits. It's where the Night Sisters would go when they would die, basically. In the Clone Wars, Mother Talzin was actually able to communicate with the spirits, and she could travel between both the physical world and the spirit realm. This realm was basically the equivalent to what the Jedi would call the Cosmic Force. Now, the Force has 2 different forms, the Living Force and the Cosmic Force. The Living Force is basically like the physical world. And then there's the Cosmic Force, which is what binds everything together through the midichlorians. It's basically how a Force user could maintain consciousness after death, and the reason why we see Force ghosts. So do you see the parallels here? Both the Night Sisters and the Jedi have their own viewpoints on the living world and also what happens after death. The Cosmic Force for the Jedi and the Spirit Realm for the Night Sisters. So now that we know this is what I think. Because of the strong connection to the daughter and the son, there could be a gateway on this planet to the world between worlds, very similar to the one we saw in Rebels. And I think Baylan Skoll will try and use the world between worlds to try and do anything in his possible will to put an end to the Force. As crazy as it might sound, he wouldn't be the first to do this. During the age of the Old Republic, Darth Traya despised the Force so much that she attempted to destroy it. That's what I think Baylan is trying to do here, and if he finds Ezra, well then that can give him a lot of the answers that he needs. I mean, what better way to learn about the world between worlds than from somebody who has actually been there? That being Ezra, of course. Baylan keeps saying something is calling to him on this planet, and maybe this is it. Maybe there's another portal here to the world between worlds, and this could be his chance to end it all. To prevent the constant cycle of the galaxy repeating itself and to prevent destruction. I mean, he's broken from Order 66. This could be his way of revenge for all of it. I am really curious to see what happens because as we know, Ray Stevenson has sadly passed away, so I don't know what this can mean for his character, but this could end with Baylan making a heroic attempt to end it all. What are your thoughts? Do you agree with this theory or do you think he's after something else? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching and may the Force be with you always.